So, my nemesis, Joseph Nye, recently passed away. But unfortunately, his soft power falsehood did not die with him. But the other day I was thinking, could he be right? Could Joseph Nye have been right? You see, technically speaking, linguistically, you could refer to the successful use of voluntary agreement to exercise power as soft power. I don't think you should, but I think technically you could refer to the past tense, the successful use. Now, as I've said before, what Joseph Nye is referring to when he talks about soft power and hard power is the three methods to get someone to agree. There are three methods you could use if you want someone to agree with you. And that is, number one, voluntary agreement. Number two, agreement through trade. Number three, agreement through coercion. Now, these are not power, because power is the ability to affect change. And these methods can fail. And if they fail, there's no change. There's no power exercised. It's like saying, if I were to say, I could move that boulder over there. And I went over and tried to move the boulder and I failed. Let me rephrase that. If I said I have the power to move that boulder over there, and I went over there, I tried to move the boulder, and I failed, you would say, no, you don't. You don't have the power to move that boulder. You tried, you failed, you don't have the power to move that boulder. Now, whatever methods I may have tried to use, they failed. Maybe I tried to use a lever, a crane, whatever, and all of those methods failed. The methods I tried to use to exercise power are just methods. They're not power. So, Joseph Nye was not right because he wasn't referring to the successful use of voluntary agreement or coercion or trade. He was not referring to it in the past tense. He was referring to as if it was a power that you could use in the future. Now, he also refers to the definition of power wrong. Power is the ability to affect change, but he says power is the ability to, let me play it.
Well, power is the ability to affect others to get the outcomes you want. And there are basically three ways you can do that. You can do it with coercion or threats. You can do it with carrots or promises or payments. And you can do it with attraction. And
power is the ability to affect others to get the outcome you want. No, it's not. Power is the ability to affect change. You could affect change on an inanimate object like the boulder that I mentioned earlier. It doesn't have to be a person. And he refers to soft power as attraction or persuasion. Now, when you get someone to voluntarily agree, and these methods, by the way, they could be used for other things other than power. For example, economics. You want to get someone to agree to work. You could use one of three methods or multiple of three methods, but you could get someone to work voluntarily through trade or through coercion. Now, if you want to get them to work voluntarily, or if you want to get someone to agree with you, to agree with whatever it is you want them to agree with, you don't have to be attractive. You could use the opposite of attraction. You could demonize someone or something in order to get them to agree. To persuade them, perhaps that's a better word, persuasion. Persuade them, you could con them, trick them. But it's a method you could use. And that's where Joseph Nye is wrong. There is no soft power, there's no hard power. There are methods you could use, and why you shouldn't use that term soft power is because it hides the methods. It hides the methods that can be used, again, for other things, like such as economics. Now, why do we have this constant battle between socialism and capitalism? Because you want to get someone to work, you got three ways: voluntarily, through trade, or through coercion. Well, you can't make an economic system out of volunteer labor. People volunteer under certain circumstances, but you can't make an economic system out of that. That leaves trade and coercion, capitalism and socialism. So the methods need to be understood, and power needs to be understood. But this is confusion because Joseph Nye doesn't really understand that they're methods, and he doesn't really understand what power is. So he makes this whole mess that I've been trying to stop. But the thing is, Joseph Nye, he has degrees, he has books, he has position in the government, or he had a position in the government. He has all this. He was a professor, and so of course, like someone said, he's a professor or whatever. So obviously he can't be wrong. And me, who am I? Why would I be right and he be wrong when I'm nothing and he was somebody? Well, he was wrong and I am right, and sometimes I am wrong, and I don't mind being wrong because my goal is to find the truth. And when I'm wrong, I don't like it, but I don't mind because I'm more interested in finding the truth. I was wrong recently. Luckily, I didn't make a video first before I discovered I was wrong, but on the purpose of government, I thought at first it was to stop conflict, and then I realized that it's to build the plan, because whenever humans build something, they go through three steps: plan, power, construction. Well, when the leader comes up with a plan, a leader or leaderships, and they have the power to enact that plan, then they build a government, then they get a government to build their plan. So that's what the purpose of government is, to be the construction company, to build the plan the leader or leadership comes up with. So yeah, I could be wrong. I've been wrong. The words I used to use, I didn't use agreement at first, I used submission. I realized that was a bad word to be using. I got a lot of pushback, and talking to my brother, I realized, he said, words have meaning, and there's a subtle difference. I mean, it's kind of a big difference, because people are okay with saying I agree, but they're not okay with saying I submit. So the words are pretty similar, but agree a better word. So I changed to agree. And again, I can be wrong. I don't mind being wrong. I'm trying to find the truth. Joseph Nye was wrong. I don't know if he ever realized he was wrong, but he is wrong. He was wrong. There's no such thing as soft power, hard power. There are the methods to get someone to agree, and they can be used possibly to successfully exercise power. Well, but they could fail. And if they fail, no power is exercised. So, no, Joseph Nye wasn't right. Thanks for watching.